One of the most annoying things that can happen to you in your accounting are Amazon invoices. As nice, convenient, and easy as Amazon is for shoppers, it's just as annoying when it comes to accounting. And in fact, there are a few things you should keep in mind when shopping on Amazon as a self-employed person. And there's also a Steuerfit that can end up costing you a lot, which you may have fallen into without even realizing it. What you should pay attention to with Amazon in your accounting is something we'll take a closer look at in this video. Basically, you can get almost anything on Amazon, so that includes everything for your self-employment as well. Whether it's purchasing goods or bigger investments like a desk, a monitor, or a laptop, all the things you need for your self-employment, you'll probably find them on Amazon somehow. And of course, it makes sense that you would just buy these things there. If you shop on Amazon privately, you probably just have an Amazon account. And so it seems obvious to just make your business purchases through this Amazon account as well. At first glance, that also seems pretty straightforward. You can save a billing address on Amazon and usually get an invoice, which you would theoretically, though, you might think just add to your accounting. The annoying thing with Amazon, though, is that these invoices aren't always available. That means sometimes you have to click into Amazon, request the invoice first, and then wait a few days, and then you finally have the invoice. But sometimes this invoice, well, how should I put it is more like a receipt, and the invoice you get from Amazon doesn't always comply with German tax laws. You may have noticed, especially when you buy from companies based in China, for example, that sometimes you receive a document presented as an invoice that's hard to read, where the tax information isn't quite correct and so on. However, Amazon is actually working on making these invoices look more standardized. But with many Amazon invoices, you probably still have a very fundamental problem. And what exactly that problem is, let's take a closer look at it on my screen. Here we see a completely normal standardized Amazon invoice. So not one of those disastrous invoices where you can't really tell what's actually written on it, but a truly standard Amazon invoice, which looks very proper at first glance. That means here we have the invoice recipient. Down here is the billing address, the delivery address, and here it also says who actually sold us something, namely Amazon based in Munich. Down here, of course, it states what they sold to me. In this case, it just so happens that it wasn't for my business because it was a Paw Patrol doll. And here is the price including VAT. That means I have a net price of 14.38 euros with 19% VAT on top. That's 2.73 euros, which results in a gross price of 17.11 euros. That all looks correct so far, because here a Munich-based company is selling me something. My company is based in Berlin, so we have a B2B business relationship. Both companies are based in Germany. The VAT statement looks great. I could just take this invoice now, if it were a business purchase, put it into my accounting, claim it as a regular business expense, and reclaim these 2.73 euros as input tax. That's what you would think, but unfortunately that's wrong. Because here we see the VAT from Amazon, and by the way, here it is again. And this VAT number starts with LU. That means this is not German VAT, but Luxembourgish VAT. That's because Amazon's European headquarters is in Luxembourg. And the inclusion of this Luxembourgish VAT number means that from a VAT perspective, Amazon did not sell this product from Germany, but from Luxembourg. So we have a sale from a company registered in Luxembourg to a German company. And in that case, it doesn't matter at all that Munich is listed as the address here. What matters is the indication of the foreign VAT number. And now we have a serious problem with this invoice. Because if you, as a business, purchase from another business and that other business is based in another EU country, then the whole thing is considered an intra-community acquisition. That means for such a purchase, you need a net invoice, which is an invoice without VAT shown. And the purchase on your end, that is the intra-community acquisition, is then subject to VAT for you. So the correct thing here would be an invoice for the amount of 14.38 euros. And you then report this purchase to the tax office as part of your VAT advance return. And then you pay 19% VAT on that. Basically, that's not a problem because you can claim the VAT you paid in the same VAT advance return as input tax. So effectively, you only pay the net amount. However, the problem is this invoice is exactly such a case. But you don't get a net invoice. Instead, as you can clearly see here, you received an invoice with VAT on it. And why is that? Because Amazon didn't know that you were purchasing as a business. And that's why Amazon issued the invoice the way it would have been correct if it had been a private purchase. But here, you are buying as a business and urgently need a net invoice. That means the VAT shown on this invoice is incorrect. And incorrectly stated VAT, according to Section 14c of the German VAT Act, you actually cannot claim. This means that if you now include this invoice in your accounting, you can still record it as a business expense, but you actually have to book it with the gross amount, so 17.11 euros, and then you still have to declare this invoice again as an intra-community acquisition for tax purposes. That means you have to pay VAT to the tax office again on the gross amount. And then you can also reclaim it accordingly. It gets really annoying if you're operating as a business, because then you have to take this gross amount, pay VAT on it, and you don't have the option to reclaim this VAT. A lot of companies don't even know that in such business relationships, you actually still have to pay VAT to the tax office. This means that purchasing becomes more expensive for you as a business because you don't have the option to claim the VAT you paid as input tax. That brings us to a very central question. Namely, how do you actually do this correctly? So how do you inform Amazon that this purchase is being made as part of your self-employment and not privately? You do this by providing your VAT number. This means that providing your VAT number in business transactions always signals, attention, I am now operating here as a self-employed person. And now this transaction is no longer a sale to an end customer, but a transaction with another business. And then Amazon will actually issue you a net invoice, and then you can simply record this net invoice in your accounting as usual. The problem is, you can't do this so easily in your Amazon account. For that, you need an Amazon business account. And setting up an Amazon business account is actually super quick. I'll just link the whole thing for you below in the video description. Just click on it, and then with just a few clicks, you have a separate account. That means you'll have a personal account for all your private purchases. And then it's absolutely no problem if, as in my example, VAT is shown there. And then you have a business account that you can use to make purchases as soon as you're buying things for your self-employment. If you're now thinking, oh, that's annoying because I have Amazon Prime and then I can't use it at all. I really don't feel like having to get another one just because I occasionally order something for my self-employment. To additionally sign up for Amazon Prime, then I can reassure you, because Amazon has a feature that lets you basically share Prime. So if you have both a personal and a business account, one Prime subscription is actually enough for you to use the Prime features on both accounts and, for example, take advantage of free shipping. When you have registered with Amazon Business and log in, this is what Amazon will look like for you. That means it essentially looks like the other Amazon. It is actually the same product selection. There are, in fact, sometimes offers that are specifically targeted at business customers, and then you can actually save money with Amazon Business. And Amazon Business also has a few other advantages. For example, there are integrations with accounting systems where invoices from Amazon are automatically transferred directly into your accounting software. For example, this works with Lexware Office. I'd be happy to show that on screen. And on Amazon, for example, you are shown the net prices because as a self-employed person, you have input tax deduction and the gross amount doesn't matter to you. What matters to you is mainly the net amount. And that's why you'll always find the net prices listed here on Amazon Business. But the reason we're doing all this is so that we actually receive invoices in the first place, which allow us to properly record these expenses from Amazon in our accounting. And we've already talked about this, that you need to provide your VAT number for this. And you can do all of this by going to your profile settings. There you'll see the option here, Manage VAT. Then you click on it, and you can add your VAT number here. As you can see, I've already done this. That means my VAT number is entered here. And with that, Amazon automatically knows as soon as I make a purchase here with this account that it's a business purchase, and I always receive a proper invoice and can easily account for it in my bookkeeping. And personally, I don't even have to transfer them myself into my accounting system because I've linked Amazon Business with my Lexware Office account. And in fact, the invoices actually look a bit different then. And we'll just take a look at that now. So let's go to my profile here. Let's check my orders and see what I've bought there. I bought flowers for my office, artificial flowers, because I'm too clueless to water them. And then up here, yes, I find the invoice. And when I click on it, I can access the invoice directly. And here we see the invoice in the familiar structure. That means I can see the invoice recipient. I see the business address. That is my business address. I also see the delivery address. So where was the delivery actually sent? And all the way to the right, I can see the seller. In this case, it's not Amazon, but rather a company from China. I won't even try to pronounce it. And what I especially notice is that this company is not selling from China with Chinese VAT, but that they have provided a VAT identification number, which starts with CZ. And CZ stands for the Czech Republic, which means in terms of VAT, I have now made a purchase here. from the Czech Republic, I am a German company, which means I have exactly the same scenario as in my private account. And further down here, I can also see what I purchased, namely the artificial plant. I see the amount without VAT, so that is a net amount, and I also see 0% VAT. And that's exactly what we need, because when I, as a company, buy from another company within the EU, that's what I need. An invoice without VAT. Down here, I even get a note that says tax-free intra-community delivery. And that's exactly how it should look, because I can now easily include this invoice in my accounting. And I can record and post it as an intra-community acquisition. That means I pay the 19% VAT on this invoice amount, and I pay this 19% VAT for this intra-community acquisition to the tax office. And at the same time, because I am liable for VAT, I also have the input tax deduction. So in practical terms, I pay nothing, but I can definitely deduct the whole thing here because the invoice is proper and correct. Let's come to the conclusion of this video and to my urgent appeal. Please, set up an Amazon business account and enter your VAT identification number if you are shopping on Amazon for your self-employment. Everything we've looked at in this video is purely about the amount involved. It's not a huge issue here because it was only about a few euros value-added tax. And when it's 2 or 3 euros, you might say, well, that's not so important to me. And in such cases, the tax office probably won't look too closely either if it's just about 2 euros in VAT. But if you now start to buy your monitor, your laptop, your desk, your office chair, your camera, and so on from Amazon, then we're not talking about 2 or 3 euros in VAT anymore, but rather about hundreds or even thousands of euros VAT that you can't claim because it's listed incorrectly on the invoice. And the only thing that draws your attention to this is Amazon's VAT identification number, which very often starts with LU. Or, in the China example, CZ. And you absolutely have to pay attention to that. Because the fact is, many self-employed people don't even know this. And many tax advisors don't know it in this form either, but the tax office does. And if the tax office sees an Amazon invoice in your bookkeeping, and it's quite obvious that it's an invoice from your personal Amazon account, then they know exactly what to look for and have basically already found the mistake in your bookkeeping. And so that the tax office doesn't come knocking on your door at some point and want to reclaim hundreds or thousands of euros in VAT from all your Amazon orders, you should set up an Amazon business account as quickly as possible. Thanks to Amazon Prime's transfer function, I really don't see any downside at all. That means all the benefits you might have with Amazon Prime on your personal account, just like I do, to be honest, you also get with your business account. That's why, in my opinion, there's absolutely no reason not to do it unless you simply don't know about it. But now you do know. And if you want to keep learning things in the future that other self-employed people don't know, then you should subscribe to this channel. And if, besides correct invoices from Amazon, you also need other things for your self-implementer bookkeeping program, a bank account, a tax advisor, then take a look at my recommendations in the video description below, or just click right here. And if you already have all of that, then just watch the next video on this channel, for example, this one here or this one here.